What's up, everybody? Clint Esposito here for FreeThinkers Society number 17. This one's going unedited. My computer has an issue. I can't hear any sound, so I can't trim the intro, which it's not really that bad, but I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. It was right before a show, and we had Dave Namery join us in studio. It was basically the day after the election, so we were talking about that whole thing, and I got excited trying to mess with those guys, so I drug us off the subject a little bit, which Mike wasn't very happy about, but he'll get over it. So, as always, this podcast is brought to you by Hero Soap Company at herosoapcompany.com. It is totally sourced and made in the United States. It is owned by an Air Force veteran. Percentage of the proceeds go to deployed military personnel and first responders. And actually, your first order, they will match whatever your order is and send it to deployed troops right now. So please, guys, support them. They're pretty rad. And all their soap is all natural, no parabens. None of that stuff rubbing on your junk. So go to herosoapcompany.com and you can actually get 20% off by using the code FreeThinkers with an S. FreeThinkers. Alright, guys, thank you. Hope you enjoy this totally unedited podcast because I can't hear anything unedited. I figured a workaround to be able to record, otherwise we were going to be SOL. But I figured that out. So here's some content. Thank you, guys.
Doodling and Etruscan, addicts of drugs not yet synthesized, black marketeers of World War III, excisers of telepathic sensitivity, osteopaths of the spirit, investigators of infractions denounced by bland paranoid chess players.
I don't have my mic. I don't have my notebook in front of me.
So you can't do intros. What's up, everybody? This is Michael Romanelli with the FreeThinkers Society number 17. Sorry, I didn't say what's up, my freaks, geeks, and freethinkers. I gotta say that first.
Are we doing an intro?
Yeah, that's it.
What is going on, my freaks, geeks, and free thinkers? This is Mike Romanelli with the FreeThinkers Society, episode number 17. Did I get that right?
There you go. That was perfect.
Yes.
I look fucking... I turned the lights like all the way as brown as they would go, and I still look like powder on this fucking screen.
I thought you said your head was shining, but it's not. Oh, it's a little bit shiny.
Dude, it's not even shining. I just seriously look like powder.
All right. This is a risky episode. Not because we don't know who our president is. It's because we're about to start a show in 35 minutes. So we got the studio door open.
Well, seating starts.
So we don't know who's going to show up.
That's true. Somebody could just meander in here.
You might hear some weird things in this podcast.
So this is, for anybody that doesn't know, this is the day after the election was supposed to be decided.
2020 election. And we have no idea. Some people think they have a clue. Most people, I'm going to keep looking at my phone for breaking news just in case we get some, even though this is not a live podcast.
You're right. He's texting people.
But, well, I'm checking that as well.
That's how much he thinks of you guys.
No, that is not true. Like I said, there's a show, and there may be some comics that need to get let into the building. But yeah, it's it's crazy, man. You know what though? I had to collect myself a couple times in the last 24 hours. We knew this was going to happen.
Yes.
We knew this was going to happen. When COVID hit, I know it sounds, and if we have anyone living overseas, it does sound...
well, we had that conversation, which you're about, I think, to get into.
Yeah.
That they immediately were like, huh? We're going to have to be mail-in votes. And we're like, this is March. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it was one of the first talking points as soon as, like, well, this virus is so contagious, so when voting comes, we're going to have to do mail-in. And it was mail-in and mail-in and mail-in.
Yeah.
And so...
And then they were like, hey, you're only going to have to wear a mask for 2 weeks. And I was like, well, then why is it going to affect the election? How do you know the election's already going to be mail-in?
Yeah. It's always so obvious. And this was so obvious. And it's easy because if anybody was watching in real time and stayed up late and really just watched everything, and not watching the news, but watching, different channels on the internet, and not, if you watched the three mainstreams, you weren't going to see this. But if you were watching, we were a couple hours ahead of everyone, especially shout out to Tommy G, I guess, the 4 Deep Discord. We were 2 hours ahead of everyone, and there's a lot of smart motherfuckers in there reading charts and seeing where we're at. And when I say, I shouldn't even say we, but just we as the country, where we were at, and it was looking like it was just a blowout, just a landslide. And then of course they're gonna stop polling or stop taking
Stop counting
Stop
and
counting.
take naps.
Stop counting.
Yo, they were like, hey, these people got to sleep. I was
Yeah.
like, one night they can't go without fucking sleep so they could count votes for the presidential race. How about, it's stupid anyway. The ballots could have been marked the day before for the mail, or in some states the day of. How is that supposed to be counted? Like, what was the plan on that? Why wouldn't you have had it so that they had to have been postmarked if you're mailing them in at least a week before?
Well, check it out.
I mean, they should have put that deadline.
First of
on
all,
people.
I have so many points that I'm going to try to unpack. One, we are in New Jersey, which had some of the strictest, and some of the, in all fairness, because COVID definitely is real. I don't know what the fuck it is. I know people that have died. They all were heavy. Some were younger, but I know people that died. So I'm not going to call it a hoax. I think it was man-made. I think it was done on purpose. I'll say that. But we were in New Jersey where we had the strictest lockdown, right? However, in that entire time period, we always were allowed to go to all the big box stores.
Yeah, exactly.
People literally breathing on you, like trying to grab like especially in the heat, in the thick of it. I remember the thick of it. I was scared because I thought it was like a real bio thing, and I really I was nervous. I didn't know. I'm talking the early days when we didn't know if you're gonna die in a week or two or whatever. And people were dying in the hospitals. We're full, and a lot of that goes because we didn't know how to treat it. And I'm not even blaming the healthcare because they didn't know how to treat it.
Right, but beyond to the point of the hospitals being full, when you pump everybody that there's this crazy disease coming around and that you could die from it, aren't you pushing people to go to the hospital basically instead of just a doctor?
Yes, but just to finish my point. My point is that there was this contagious thing, and at any given time, everyone was on top of it. In about a month's period, they had the 6 feet, and people would yell at you the one way, you got to go this way. But in the very beginning, when it was at least for us, at its peak, you were standing on top of each other. People were almost like fighting each other to get flour, to get rice, or to get whatever they were getting. And at the end, guess what? If you had a credit card, if you gave them cash, it was like you gave them fucking a condom filled with AIDS, which is the weirdest thing. But if you gave them a fucking, if you had your credit card, you always stuck it into the same fucking machine. And I would make a fucking joke with you guys all the time, like, I feel like my credit card's dirty from sticking it in the same chip processor. And you guys didn't think it was funny. It's still probably not that funny of a joke. But my
We're
point,
just recording now.
I'm going to introduce you in 1 second. I'm so excited to have you, Dave. My point is they packed us in and they let us all put our fucking credit cards in a machine, touch a fucking machine. Nobody fucking sanitized it. Everyone touched it, and that wasn't the problem. It was never a problem. So we'll talk more on this topic, but first I got to say, what is up to Dave Namery, one of my favorite people. I'm so excited. When I found out Dave was going to come on the podcast while we were in limbo, I was so excited. What's up, Dave?
I'm just so happy to be here, Mike.
Awesome. That's
In the
awesome.
presence
You're so
of
happy
greatness.
in the presence of chaos. There's nobody I would rather have in our crew right now while the world's on fire than
It
Dave.
is. It's wild. Dude, I just, I'm in Midtown working. I just got off work. And I'm driving over here, and as I get to the Lincoln Tunnel, like about to enter the Lincoln Tunnel, there were like 500, maybe 800 cops just on foot.
Oh,
Posted up, like ready to go.
Oh yeah, they're ready to go.
They were just all over the place.
They're
like
ready to
within
go.
like probably 500 to 800. I don't know. I can't. But in like a 3-block radius. I don't know why there, but that's where they were.
Well,
Probably
they're-
all
How
over.
many were minorities?
Of the cops?
Yeah.
A surprising amount. A lot of Hispanic NYPD officers.
well, it's like you're pulling off the Band-Aid slow. Because eventually, maybe even tonight, maybe I'm speaking too soon. It's gonna come. The civil unrest is gonna come.
Oh yeah, I got an email, a work email from the president of the company, and it was like 8 tips for dealing with social unrest. It's like this long ass comprehensive.
Was Mace one?
I don't know.
Should I
I didn't
kick someone in the
read
nuts?
it. He's like,
It's
well,
like teaching
'cause-
my 4-year-old and something like
well, it's like property management. They're like all over the city. So, and then basically, it's like it was a long email for him to just be like, if there's protests outside the building, don't engage with the protesters. That was like the gist of it. He's like, just don't. If they're protesting outside the building, just stay inside the fucking building. You know, because they don't want to deal with that shit. But
Yeah.
it was
It seems-
weird. It's surreal, man. It's
Seems
surreal.
straightforward.
It's surreal. But my point when you walked in, Dave, I knew that
They made that email for Dave because they knew Dave was gonna try to.
He start telling his jokes.
He was gonna be like, "Listen, did the big letters work yet? Are you guys gonna put big letters out here?"
Yeah, I'm an agent provocateur.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you would be.
I
Oh
just
my
start
God.
smashing
You're-
windows. So
It-
what
it
are you
would just-
doing?
Your jokes the next show here might be a provocateur. But
I'm gonna start riots. That's like always what
Yeah.
what I wanted.
so what do you guys think though? That's my point. My point is that we knew this was all going to happen. We were able to all fucking touch that dirty little pin pad on the fucking
And how about
ATM
just
machine
all the
or whatever.
shit on even the shelves? It's
Yeah, that
hilarious
too.
to
But
me.
yeah, when it's time to pay, they didn't give a fuck. When it's time to pay, push that button.
Yeah.
Push that fucking button to say, yes, I accept these charges. They let us all do it. We all touch the same fucking buttons because they put us in the same fucking stores. Target, Costco, Walmart. So we had to even go to the same. So we can't fucking touch the button in the fucking voter booth?
I would have thought.
Come on, man.
This
This is
is. I'm also really.
It is ridiculous. Well, we weren't allowed to vote in person in Jersey. I didn't
No,
mean to cut you
yeah.
off, right? We were not allowed.
No.
I thought that might have just been my town.
No.
but they were like,
I think the whole.
No, you could drop
State.
off a paper ballot. Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
but still, it's kind of weird
Yeah.
that they're like, no, you can't.
That's what we got. We did. We drove to the courthouse and dropped our ballots off.
I just didn't vote. I ripped up my ballot. I've never felt so good. I
You
felt
felt
amazing.
It was like burning your bra.
Yeah, it was like that. I was so empowered, like a feminist or something like that.
You
Yeah.
burnt it in the sink and you danced around.
Next time I'm gonna burn it. That's my plan. Because this time I was like, ripping it was fun, but I should have burned it.
Yeah, you
know
got to
what
put that
I
to
mean?
your stories. They'll definitely get followers.
That's what I want. I want to just like
You
have
gotta
a
put that
bonfire
up
and
in-
just when you like put the edge in like in a movie and like put the edge in and like
You
let
gotta
it
watch
catch
it.
and just watch
You
it
just
burn.
watch it burn
Yeah,
slow.
just watch it burn slowly.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That would have been a good TikTok or whatever video.
I know. Well, I told this story on my podcast. And by the way, I got new listeners from doing this podcast. So I love your listeners. I love your listeners
yeah.
so much. But I'll just do the short version. Like my mom was like she is so CNN-ified,
Yep.
if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a fucking virus.
We have
it's
Fox.
a mind virus.
Well, at least I'm not speaking,
Yeah.
but I think we have Fox parents.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
but
They
it's
get
the same
in,
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't
they're
matter.
just they're two sides of
Yeah.
the same coin.
Yeah.
And so she was freaking out because like I'm not allowed to say mean things about Biden in the house. That's like a rule. That's like
do you
house
do it?
rule. Oh, I'm moving out in 2 weeks. So luckily, but I'll just hold my tongue. And then, but I'm also not allowed to not say bad things about Trump. Like my mom, like will try to goad me into saying bad things about Trump, and then I'll always just be like, I think he's okay. You know what I mean? It's just I'm like, he's not so
Master
bad.
troll.
I'm like, is he that bad? You know, really? But she was so mad at me the other day because we were having an argument, and then she goes and grabs my ballot. This must have been like 4 days ago, and she
filled it out
just
for
puts
you.
the ballot in front of me, and she goes, "Do it." She's like, "Vote for Trump, then. Vote for Trump, then. Like, where are your balls?" You know, this is my mom's very calm person, and she never speaks like this. And she was freaking, and she's like, "Do it. Vote for Trump." She's like, "I'm gonna film you and send it to our family members so they know who
my
you really
God.
are." And I just was like, and I was so calm, and I was like, "Mom, please stop, Mom." I was like, "You're really." you're kind of scaring me right now, Mom. I was like, please stop. And then she's just like, do it. She's yelling. And I said, you know what? I'll just do this. And I picked it up and I just ripped it up into little pieces very calmly. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment.
You should have told her you already filled out 4 ballots for Trump. This one, 5 seems unnecessary.
I know.
This is what's crazy, guys. In my household, we got 2 ballots.
And you're only supposed to get one?
Yeah. Wait, how many did you get, man? Yeah, you're supposed to get one.
I don't know. I didn't check.
There was only 2 adults.
There was just the one that she put in front of me.
My
I don't know if there
wife
were
got
more.
2 ballots.
Your wife?
One in her maiden name and one in with our name.
That seems legit.
This
Yeah.
is sketchy, dude. It's really
Legit.
sketchy. I was watching Ron Paul today. Do you ever watch Ron Paul Liberty Report?
Not currently.
No,
No,
because you have to pay for it.
currently
You know,
no. Back
it's
in the
just on
day,
YouTube.
I used to watch
Come on.
a lot of Ron Paul.
I love Ron Paul.
Me
I also
too.
brought that up.
He's the man. He should have
He
been
wa- yeah,
fucking
yeah.
president.
Oh God, he would be. He would
he
be
would
so much
unite
better.
everyone.
You know what is crazy though? I have a coworker and we were out to lunch today, and he's like kind of conservative. He's not really like he's really nothing, but he's not liberal at all. And I brought up Ron Paul, and he like laughed, and he was like, "Oh, that crazy guy," and I was like. Dude, the establishment has done such a good job with
very
Ron
good
Paul.
job.
Like they just made him the crazy guy.
Yeah.
It's like what he's like extremely anti-war. He wants to get us out of Iraq and Afghanistan. He's crazy.
He wants to balance the budget.
He wants to get rid of the Federal Reserve.
Unnecessary
Well,
facets
that's the
of
word
our
right there.
government.
They're like, we're good.
He's crazy. Yeah. They've done such a good job. But he was talking about a bunch of stuff. I was just watching it live, like while I was working, so I was half listening. But apparently, they did. You know how they do these updates, so that the votes are coming in,
Yeah.
and then they do an update.
Yeah.
And they did they added an update. I think it was in Michigan. I'm not sure. It was either Michigan or Wisconsin. They added 130,000 votes.
Solely
Every
to
single
Biden.
one was Biden.
I think it was
100%.
Wisconsin. Yeah, I watched it.
And I'm like, what? Were they keeping them in different piles, like a Trump pile and the Biden pile?
And how fast
then
were they-
wouldn't there be a Trump update? You know, I'm like, what is the likelihood that 130,000
Exactly.
votes, every single
Every
one was
one.
And for some
Biden?
reason, they just count a lot faster for Biden. It's crazy how fast they could count.
And
for
they
him.
call states quicker for Biden.
Yeah. Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, well, this one's still up in
Yeah.
the air, but if it's Biden, they're like, this one's it's over.
Dude,
It's a
it
wrap.
was at 3% or something. They're like 3% of the votes are tallied. They had a check for Biden. I'm like, how the fuck?
That's insane.
Listen, the pot.
If you were at least at 70, like 50, 70%, like, I don't know, maybe more than half at least, but fucking, you know what I mean? You're just going to go at 2%.
It's sketchy, man, and it's gonna go. This is gonna be for a few weeks because it's gonna go to the Supreme
it's gonna
Court.
make it so much worse.
It probably is.
I've said it a million times on this
Well,
show.
there's already been a thing filed in Michigan, I heard.
They want to recount, I think, in
He's
Wisconsin.
gonna fucking recount everything.
But he's going to want beat recounts in like a lot of states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Trump's being kind of a dick because he wants recounts here and then he wants to stop voting. He wants
Stop
them to stop
counting.
counting in Pennsylvania. But I was just the bartender just said downstairs like that. Some states you could collect.
She said, "Were you
votes.
a Jew? Get out."
Well, that was after that, and I calmed her down.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
good.
I just said, shh, it's okay.
She's a real
I'm not
Trumper.
like the others. I'm
She's a
not
real
like the
Trumper.
others. I said, but she
She's-
said like in some states you could keep voting till the 18th. Like they accept
What?
mail-in till
Yeah.
the 18th. I don't know if that's true. Is that true?
I heard that.
She's been doing a lot of research because the bar's been so busy today.
Well,
computer all day long,
You got
so.
time. It's important research, okay?
No, it's
you
great.
should
It's
support
good.
that.
Hey, at least she's learning.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like
Well, why would we were talking
because
about
then we're
this before
guaranteed
you-
to get 3 more weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever, 2 more weeks.
Well, and even what I said before you got here, they were allowed to be in a lot of places postmarked the day before or the day of. What kind of fucking plan is this?
And what do you mean?
They're allowed to be postmarked. Like they were, as long as you got them in the mail by the 3rd or the 4th, you were good.
Oh, word.
Well,
so it, could
it still needs to
take
get
time.
to the fucking
to get
place.
there.
Yeah. That's what they were saying. They'll allow up to so long for the ballots to come in, like another 14 days. They're still counting ballots to come in for the next
is
14
so
days.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. That's
Yeah.
It was all set up for this.
Oh
shit.
my god.
Which seems like a brilliant idea, right? This is but even in the past, right? Any of the elections and then the more recent ones that I remember, how there's always been mail-in ballots that were allowed to be mailed the day before or something like that. So
Was it the
how
day
many
before?
are not counted always?
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
that's
I
a good
never
point.
gave a fuck.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. I never gave a fuck until the last 8 years.
Well,
I
it
never
doesn't
really
seem
cared.
like a very good way to do this at now that we have fucking electronic mail and Face ID and text messages.
Yeah, I got a couple points. First one is it's easier to vote on American Idol. It's harder. It's harder to fucking fraud American Idol. I wanted to vote for Sanjaya like 17 times, and they only took one. Remember that guy with the fucking flowing hair that was terrible, but he kept going? Like, I loved, and there was like, you already voted for him. They knew from my phone. They fucking knew that I was trying to fucking give him extra votes.
So if you had unlocked
and that was like fucking 8 years ago.
So if you had unlocked it with your face, okay, so it knew it was you.
All the stuff I don't do on my phone, but yes, you can do it. There's so many ways. It's bullshit.
If you have an intricate layer of passwords, which Mike does to get into his phone.
The voting should just be, you get like your finger pricked, and then you drop blood into one vial or the other.
Or they just put a chip in you.
And then you can't fake it. It has to be you. That's your blood.
There you go. That's racist.
Why is it racist? For people with sickle cell anemia?
No. Foreigners don't have blood.
Well, neither do Jews.
Didn't you know?
I'd be found out. They'd be like, why is that blue? Why is it melting through the vial?
There are so many ways to authenticate an American citizen. In this, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
No, but that's bigoted to want people to have identification.
Yeah.
That's bigoted.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Come on, man. That's what Joe Biden would
Clint,
say.
can you rewind that? I don't want anyone to hear that. I just said that. Can we erase that? No, but another thing. I'll wait till Clint gets in and on his mic because I just need to text a couple of comics and see where they're at. But Clint, why don't you tell everyone about? We just happen to be talking about the Sharpies, and you have firsthand experience on someone with a Sharpie in Arizona, where it's happening.
One of my friends this afternoon posted that when he walked into the voting place, they handed him a Sharpie and he filled it out, and then when he went home he looked at the status of his ballot online and it said what did it say? It was like not
You checked on it, yeah, right?
I forget what the wording is, but it's like not accepted or canceled or some shit like that. And then we were just listening on,
because it had Sharpie?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you read the top of the ballot, it says it has to be done with a blue or black pen. But they were like, "Oh, we're having an issue, so we need to bring these Sharpies in."
This is sketchy, man.
Let me also tell you this: this fucking dude is a hunting guide out there, and I guarantee, knowing him, he showed up with a fucking camo jacket on and probably
they knew,
a Trump
it's over. And you says Arizona.
Yeah.
Because there's only 7 states matter, really. Yeah. Arizona's one of them.
Yeah. He for sure showed up like, fuck you guys, I'm voting for Trump.
That's why you gotta show up with like skinny jeans and like thick lens glasses and just be like, I'm just so excited to vote.
I just dress like
Antifa all the time. They'll you bring your vote over a copy machine. Your
Mike
ballot,
just
make
shows up.
more.
Mike shows up smelling like patchouli and having a long string necklace on, and then that's it.
That's what you need. You gotta. But it's great. Like, do we talk about the Transition Integrity Project? Did I tell you guys about that?
What are we
It's like,
transitioning?
okay, well, not us physically, but maybe on a different episode or something.
Okay.
We could talk about that. But it's like Event 201. You know Event 201, right? Yeah. I'm sure the audience is familiar with Event 201.
Probably. They're smarter than
It was like the simulation that they did in November of a global pandemic, coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, like
that
almost
they
like
did.
yes.
It might have been October or November.
Dude, thank God they ran this test.
I know. Thank goodness for that.
Well,
and what a like
we been
amazing
lost.
coincidence.
We would have been lost.
Yeah, we're so lucky
if
that
they hadn't have done
coincidence
that.
happened.
We have no idea.
Right before the virus was someone ate a bat.
How about in 2019 there was a thing called Explained, or there's a series on like Netflix or something. It's called Explained, and there's Explained Pandemics, which features Bill Gates talking about some kind of unknown, totally not dealt with before pandemic that happened to be transmitted in aerosols, and you know what I mean? It was just really informational.
I think Bill Gates is I mean, I think I speak for all of us when I say that he's a hero. And I think that people really underestimate, like, all those like 500,000 girls in India that he chemically castrated with those vaccines, they get to fuck and they don't have to worry about having kids.
Fact.
Like that is amazing what he did.
They probably
that is truly amazing
I
what he
bet
did.
you a
they don't have to take the
percentage-
pill.
I bet you a percentage of them get to go to Epstein Island.
I'm sure anyone that wants to can go. You know, I'm sure they got other islands too. There's got to be a Gates Island.
Some
There's
of
no
the-
way there's not.
Oh, he was. Yeah.
He must have his own.
I mean,
He probably saw Epstein's. He was like, I could do better than that.
oh yeah.
I can get younger girls.
That's
He's like, Jeff, those are 16-year-olds? Jesus Christ. What are you, an amateur?
amateur.
Bill
He's
Gates.
like, what are you? They're pretty much women. You disgusting.
Yeah, he's like,
I mean,
you're disgusting. They're not pure.
you
Jeff.
cisgender. What would that be called? An ageist?
his wife is questionable.
Whose wife?
His wife might be a guy.
His wife looks like a linebacker.
Gates.
Yeah. If you are one of the most richest men in the world,
You're gonna have a dime piece, boy.
yeah. I mean, maybe
Unless
maybe
he's sucking
into,
her dick,
Maybe he's into
Well,
that. If he's into that, I'm
That's
cool
why
with it.
Barry's married to Michael.
dude. I saw the
'Cause he
picture
likes
for the
sucking dick.
first time.
Of the dick or which one?
No, that I showed you. That you were like, oh, I've seen that.
Was she dancing?
As she's at Mike, as Mike,
Oh yeah.
when they were
Or the
young,
best
with
friend.
yeah.
arm around
This is
him.
Dave's.
When she was like a tight end.
And I was
in
just
high
like,
school. Yeah.
well,
His
it was
forte.
just him with his arm around him,
when they're just best buds.
Oh my gosh.
and
dude.
I was like,
when they're just
yo,
two good friends trying to start a podcast.
it's crazy.
I was
It's
like-
crazy. It's like no one even. You know, there was a guy. I don't know if I talked about this one. There was a guy who testified, and I don't know if it was like in front of Congress or something. It might have been in front of the state Congress of Illinois. I think Barry is from Illinois, right?
Call him Barry.
Yeah. I like calling him Barry. I know. It humanizes him a
he
little
is from
bit.
he is from Illinois, Turbo Nut State. He loves that he's from there.
Well, anyway, okay. There was this
Turbo
guy.
Nuts.
He's very proud of it.
There was this guy who said, now I don't know if it's true, but he said
Allegedly.
that he, him and Barack like met up, because Barack was like a sitting senator at that point, and he's like showing Barack around, and Barack's like, "You got any cocaine?" And then they're just like, they're smoking crack, so it was crack actually. I'm sorry, inaccuracy. It was crack.
I'm gonna take a mental.
And
I'm
the
gonna take a
guy-
mental note on crack. Go ahead.
The guy sucked Barack's dick,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's testifying. And he's telling them that he did this. That
Yeah.
guy died
Yeah.
shortly afterwards.
AIDS.
Apparent
I've heard that-
suicide.
I've heard that story.
Yeah, that's like I just read this book, Mary's Mosaic. We should do a JFK episode because I have so much knowledge on that now.
The
But-
worst part of that story. Oh, go ahead. Are you starting anything?
Oh no, I was just gonna say there's such a good quote from an ex-CIA agent, and he's like, "Anyone can commit a murder. It takes an expert to commit a suicide, like on someone else." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They're like so good at that.
But I'll
Sometimes
still-
they botch it though.
I'll still stand by
Two
that.
shots
The best.
to the back of the head.
But then
The
they
worst
just,
part of the story is that everyone that does blow demonizes crack. I love all these fucking like guys that are like, and girls that are hating on Hunter Biden because he smoked a little crack. And
Hunter-
but they're fucking doing
it's
coke
just
in the
the
bathroom.
ingestion method.
You know what? I'm tired of that. That is bullshit.
Yeah.
If you're
just not
cocaine,
fair.
Let's
crack, it's all the same
normalize crack
shit.
and coke.
No.
Crack.
It's cool to do coke, but why is it not cool to smoke crack?
Yeah, why are they legalized? They just legalized
Teeth.
weed in New Jersey.
Teeth.
Why are they not?
This goes into our early catalog.
is
We,
the-
we
We should
spoke about
legalize
this.
cocaine. I'm just saying.
Which
We should legalize
apparently
everything.
you just need
we're
to
we're growing.
you
growing
just need
adults.
to brush your teeth a lot, right?
Yeah, that was the early episodes. I gave them that.
Go
little,
back into
I gave them
the-
that little tidbit.
You don't
just
lose
brush
your
your
That,
teeth.
teeth.
that
Yeah.
apparently, I mean, I heard this from a crackhead. He was this beautiful kid.
And he had beautiful teeth, he said.
He was really just he was a model.
Who else are you going to
And
listen to
this
on
kid smoked more meth and crack than I ever met in my life. And I'm like, but how do you keep this going? He was like, oh, that's a myth. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, they're just lazy. They don't brush their teeth. He's like, I work out.
They're
brush
just
my
cracked
teeth."
out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he goes, no, it has nothing to do with smoking. I go, come on, man.
So you can be on crack. You can be successful. You could be the president of the United States on crack. Right? Barry showed us that. I'm sure others have as well.
I think
mean,
they all smoke
Hitler
crack.
was on lots of meth, and he was a good
Oh, yeah.
leader.
He's
covered
the
that as
fucking...
well.
Hitler's the fucking... He's like the OG. He's like when you watch Cribs, you know, Elvis already did it. It's basically like all these guys doing meth and drugs now. Like Hitler,
Oh, well,
he made the game.
Yeah, you're the top science.
He just showed that you can achieve great things and be doing lots of drugs.
Or achieve great things because you're doing lots of drugs.
Either way, it's inspiring.
And then and then he was like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to need you to produce it for all my boys too. And then he just was like, I'm going to give you guys a little taste.
He was
and
the
they're like,
plug.
this is great. Yeah,
He was
exactly.
the national
The
plug.
plug.
Yeah.
Is that amazing? He was the national plug. He
Now
was
it's like
hooking his boys up.
Pfizer.
Yeah, Pfizer's the new national plug. That's true.
Yeah, it's probably his great
Johnson & Johnson.
It's probably his great grandkids that run that shit. Yeah.
They're like,
they
this
call
is
it
granddaddy's.
Adderall. And now they call it Adderall.
Oh
Dude,
my
All
God.
your fucking kids are on it.
Adolforol?
We just figured something out. Oh,
Amazing, Clint.
Wow.
That's great investigative work.
I still don't know who the president is, but I think we figured it out.
Adolforol.
I'm so sorry. You guys listen to Smart Podcast.
Oh,
Found
and
me from the Smart
we
Podcast.
gotta get back to this though, because I didn't tell you what the Transition Integrity Project is, and they did the same thing as Event 201, where they did a simulation. This was like 3 months ago. Whitney Webb wrote an article about it, and it was like all these people that you know, like establishment, Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter. They're all the same when they're establishment. You know, they're the same people.
Yeah.
But they were doing like all these scenarios, like what if Trump refuses to accept the results of the election, things like that. You know who played Joe Biden in the simulation? This is just like the cherry on top. John Podesta played Joe Biden.
Come on.
I swear, dude. He was playing Joe Biden in this simulation. That, like, they were open about it. This is what they're doing now. They're just like, yeah, you can look at it. You can see what we're doing. We don't give a fuck. And
It's
it
always
just
been
seems
that.
like,
It's been that way. Just now the information is just getting greater, and you could find those things.
but they set it up so that they're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a bunch of mail-in ballots, which we've never done on this scale before. And then obviously people are going to raise concerns about, like, it's going to raise concerns. People are going to be like, wait, are we prepared to handle that? Are there going to be errors made? And then taking that into consideration, they go, Donald Trump is not going to trust the results, even though they're extremely reliable. And they say that based on no evidence. They're just saying that because then they have to make it seem like if Trump is to not accept the results and to want like an investigation or whatever, then he's being a tyrant. He's being an autocrat. Meanwhile, they've challenged election results like
Exactly.
Who
plenty
played
of
Trump?
presidents have done it before.
Who played Trump?
Huh?
Alec Baldwin
Oh, in the
in the
in
simulation.
the simulation,
Yeah.
I'm sure it was someone with a better Trump impression than Alec
It was
Baldwin.
Nicky Petito.
It was probably Nicky Petito.
started
We
really-
should ask
he
him. We
started
gotta
really-
get
he
him up
started
here.
really
Is he
tight- He
downstairs?
started really tighten that thing up. It probably was him.
Yeah, he is. He's getting better. He's getting a lot better. I gotta say.
You can't send him out there to hang out with the Podesta boys.
He did tell me. Oh, I'm not going to say
Yeah.
it.
He's gonna get, he's gonna get
He's
blew
gonna
my
get
mind.
himself in
Infiltrated,
deep.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
young boy
What's
on
next?
on an island.
what's next, guys?
With all the pleasures of the world offered to him.
Well,
Yeah, Clint was like, he was just really into that. He wanted to finish it. You wanted to move on to a different topic because I said, I'm going to see this through. I'm going to see this through. That's what Clint
You got to
was
commit to
thinking.
the bit.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, that's
Dave?
what she did. That's what she did. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Maybe he'll be beaten by one of the Podesta brothers, like in that when he. Did you ever see that video where allegedly he has like the kid's head in the burning hot water and he's beating him, saying, "Now I'm your father."
You clicked on that link?
Hey, I
But
think
the,
we're
the
going to.
police showed up 2 minutes later, and
Motherfucker.
now I'm a psyop.
We'll talk about the Podestas another time, okay?
They brought me mushrooms,
Oh boy.
the CIA. So I was like, "All right, you guys seem like good chaps.
Oh, my gosh.
Your third eye is open."
Those were mushrooms. So
It was weird. They put them in my butt. I didn't.
So what's
Sorry,
next?
Brought it down.
It's all right. It's fine. No, it's good.
I don't know.
Good energy you brought. You brought
Well,
great
here's
energy to
something
this
that
podcast.
is in across the street from my.
I brought
from my
Podesta energy in here.
You're still doing it, Clint. You know, you have a problem. You have a problem. Someone needs to do something about this.
I'm really irritated that they're brothers and they're still alive after all this stuff.
Well, then kill
Is it
them.
Chester
Then do
Bennington's
something
father?
about it.
Is whose father?
Chester Bennington.
Oh, it might be.
They fucking
They
look-
look a
they
lot
look a
alike.
lot alike.
They look. I can't believe we're not going to let Clint do this to us. Right now. We were ready to move on to other
doing it.
things.
Do you think-
and now
There's an
here we
election
are.
going on right now.
And he was trying, and Chester Bennington was trying to
This is the election
expose
special.
pedophilia.
Yeah, he was. When
He was gonna
died. Oh
expose
God!
his
Don't
dad.
don't make me go down this
He was
rabbit
going to
hole now.
expose his dad, and then he took him out.
Yeah, it was
That's
over.
why Chester was so sad. He was like, "My dad's such a dick."
Yeah, my dad used to fuck me all the time and didn't even say it was my dad.
Exactly.
He put me out
horrible.
on the street.
The worst thing ever.
But they killed all of them. They killed Avicii.
So we
and-
basically just confirmed
Who's the
that
other one?
the
Chris Cornell.
Podesta brothers, both
Cornell.
of them,
Best friends.
gave birth
Bourdain.
to.
Bourdain walked in
Bourdain.
on the whole video they were making.
Really?
No, I made that up.
No, supposedly
well,
he
maybe-
was,
They're
no.
tied
You
in
don't know
together.
that he didn't.
They're tied
you
in
don't know
toge-
that he didn't.
They're
No,
tied in together
He's
somehow,
supposed
but-
to be involved in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So allegedly,
Yeah, he was at a hotel where something was happening. I was trying to make it sound funnier that he was
no.
walked in the video of the Cornell and Avicii and Chester making the documentary. It's not funny at all.
They
People
were
just
all-
don't realize how much like
Then he hung
real
himself.
politics are
So
like
sad.
House of Cards, except it's way
Game
more
of
fucked
Thrones.
up. It's more like Game of Thrones.
It's Game of
more
Thrones.
like Game
Yeah,
of Thrones.
it's a
Yeah, it
lot more
really
like-
is. It really is. People don't realize it's like they operate in the same way. They just have like different stuff.
But
Oh,
they're
yeah.
pussies about it. They like back in the day, they'd be like, "Oh, you betrayed me. Guess what? I'm gonna take you to the square and just chop your head off in front of everybody."
Yeah, some of them. But you got to think about like Varys. You know what I mean? Or like Tyrion, conniving, subtle, Cersei. You know,
It's
I read the
it's
books.
very-
I didn't watch
it's-
the show because I'm an intellectual.
Did you? You
In
only
the
read
real
the book?
I
world,
only read the books. Great books.
Damn.
yo, in the
Fantastic.
real world, they took you down to the square and made a spectacle of it, and it was like, "Do you want to fucking try and steal bread?"
Well, they do that in different ways now. Take you down to the square.
Yeah.
You know?
How do they do it?
I don't know. I just
People
said
just
that.
disappear, and
Well,
you're just like,
I was hoping
"Fuck."
you wouldn't ask a follow-up question. I was hoping you would just take
Well,
that
I think
at face value.
I think what's going to happen is going to be social credit, and they're doing it in other countries where, yeah, okay, so cut your hands or cut your head off, but now it's going to be like you didn't pay your fucking Sprint bill on time. You can't get on this train. You didn't call this girl back. They're not going to give a fuck about that. It's going to be like you didn't vote for
No,
Biden.
they're going to give
They're
a
gonna
fuck
like, you
about
didn't vote for
that was
Biden.
unethical.
Oh
what
yeah,
you did.
they might,
Yeah.
or
No,
they
I
might
don't
say
know.
you
They're-
didn't vote for this. But you know what I'm saying? It's going to be social.
What if you have to pay like a tax?
Oh yeah, that's all.
They're
covered,
like,
too.
Based on your
you can
bad
ride
credit
this.
score.
You
Oh,
can
yeah, you're
ride
gonna
this
have better-
train, but your interest is.
Which I always
pumped
thought
up
was
or
funny.
something.
Like you pay less for your house because you didn't fuck up and not pay your bills. It's gonna be the same shit.
Yeah.
What they do with like people and like how much interest you pay. You know what I mean? It's gonna be the same thing just with life. Like, oh, you're gonna
Yeah,
sit in
and
the
they're gonna
back of the
have-
fucking train.
It's going to be all that arbitrary shit like
I
the
hope
same
not.
way they do a regular credit score. And things are not going to make sense. And they're going to be like, if you want to increase your credit score, and
Yeah.
they can make it whatever they want.
Yeah, you
Because
gotta,
think
you
about-
gotta, don't, you've gotta volunteer for Biden's election
Exactly,
campaign,
something like that.
and we'll bring your score
But think
back
about
down.
like a real credit score. Like if I go and get my credit report, like first of all, it will just fluctuate. It'll go up 20 points, it go down 20 points. It doesn't tell me why. It doesn't give me any explanation. But I'll go like it'll be like, here are some tips to increase your credit score, and it's like open more lines of credit.
Yeah.
That one bothers me
Yeah.
the most
Yeah.
because
I
it's
know,
like
I know.
you don't have enough credit cards. You need to open more credit
Yep.
cards. I'm like, but then wouldn't it make it more likely that
And
I'm going to
then-
miss
don't
a
pay 'em
payment?
off.
And
And
like,
then-
what the fuck? Yeah,
yeah.
they're like they trap you.
Yeah.
That's how they do it.
Don't pay
it's
it
debt
off,
slaves.
and
It's
you
debt
have
slaves.
to have a certain amount against that credit. You can't just have all these open credit cards with no balance.
Yeah,
They have to
I
have
tried
some
to do
kind
that.
of balance.
I let
No.
it. I was like, oh, I'll get my credit score up. I'll just keep my balance really low. I'll keep it at like $30 to
they'll
$50. It made it go down. And I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, I missed. This is my whole probably grown up life because I always travel and shit. I'd be late on payments all the fucking time, and I still have like a 740. I'm like, dude, just pay.
That's crazy.
As long as you don't just defer on a bunch of fucking shit,
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
That's
well,
gonna
this
happen
was
with
like
social. It's gonna be social credit. It's gonna be
when I was submitting my shit to get the apartment and like sending them all my shit. It's like I had just taken a hit for no reason. My like again, it was just like it fluctuates, and it went down to like 695. But if you scroll down and see the credit report, like the credit score report, it says missed payments, none. Late payments, none. I'm like, what matters then?
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing. I'm like, what is the fucking landlord worried about? If there's, I've never missed a payment, I've
It's
never
not
had a
the
late
landlord.
payment. What the fuck? I know it's
Yeah.
not
The
the
landlord
landlord.
loves you.
It's fucking Capital
Yeah.
One, whatever.
The
It's
landlord loves you.
It's
Yeah.
a fictitious fucking metric that they've come up with.
Oh, it's
It's
insane.
fucking Hitler's fucking great grandson twice removed.
No, that's why they killed Hitler.
Dude, it's all
Because
fucking
he-
Rome.
he
It's all
nationalized
it's
the
all
banks.
Rome.
We can
We can go
we'll
there.
get into that another time.
We can
So
go-
many things to get into another time. This
it
is
all-
the election special, okay?
Yeah, it is. And we're not talking about the election.
I know we haven't been
Hey.
for like 20 minutes.
No one wants to hear
It
about
makes
the election.
sense. Creditler.
No one fucking knows.
Credit. You're really on point today, Clint.
I've microdosed on mushrooms, allegedly.
Did you say allegedly?
Allegedly.
Oh my god.
They're like, he's too smart. He had to have.
that would explain it, definitely.
Creditler.
That's why he's on fire right now.
What brought us to the credit score thing? Oh yeah, but you know what they're gonna do? There's a
Social credit
there's a
score.
podcast called The Corbett Report.
Yep.
I sent that to you guys. I think.
Yeah, I know.
So good. Yeah. That's fantastic. And he did
Is
one.
it by John Corbett? He used to have the late
James
story?
Corbett. Were you trying to make a joke right now? Can I just say a sentence, Clint, for crying out loud? Can I say a sentence?
Let
May
me
I?
finish, man.
Okay. It was like, I don't know, it's some company and they I don't know, they're like consulting or something, and they made a video on their website, like a whole breakdown about like life in 2025, and it's creepy. And I don't know how much of it they're actually going to try to institute, but it seems like another one of these things where they're like, here's what's going to happen. We just got to get them used to it. We got to break them in. But one of the things is like, you want to enter a building, you're going to have to get like go into like a locked, like an airtight whatever, like in a spaceship kind of.
Yeah.
And get like a health screening. You know what I mean? Like, is your temperature okay?
Bro.
Do you have symptoms?
This is my worst nightmare.
And you have to check in.
That's where it's going, man.
Yeah,
This is
dude.
Literally my worst nightmare.
And you thought it was
creepy.
cute to vote for fucking Kanye.
You thought that was cute? You really did? You should have ripped up your
I
ballot.
voted for Hitler, actually.
Well,
I
that's
wrote it in.
Well, you know what? I mean, you vote for Hitler.
He really ran a tight ship.
underrated.
He's gonna make sky highways for us. All right?
You don't have hair. You can't work with those shorts.
Yeah, I know. This is like, you gotta leave those bits to me.
yeah.
Okay? You're gonna get yourself canceled.
Well,
I can at least
works for
I can
Dave.
fend off the mob with my
Yeah,
Judaism.
fuck it.
But
Well-
you really have nothing. They're gonna,
But seriously, you're talking about
I'll be like, listen, blood is thicker than water.
sigh.
oh boy.
Everybody
So-
knows he went to Italy after.
Yeah, you went to
About-
fuck. Oh my gosh, you don't even know where he went. You call
Italy.
yourself a researcher.
Italy. He went to Italy.
He went
they
to
say
Italy.
that the Alps in Italy.
Venezuela?
I thought he went to Argentina.
Yeah, Argentina.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there's a place called Little Germany.
Yes.
in Argentina.
Yeah.
It's just Nazis.
Yeah. There's everywhere. And
But
Argentina. Why
there's
did I say
a
Venezuela?
fucking
Because
Shiner,
Venezuela's been on my mind because I feel like I know some Venezuelans that say we're headed towards that.
Shiner, Texas is fucking little Germany. It's all Shiner beer and which is German and Wiener.
Well,
Schnitzel
there's a lot. We
places.
brought a lot of Nazis here too, but there were already Germans here. To be fair,
Yeah,
lots of Germans since early 1900s. Okay, so let's not all lump them in together.
Yeah, or could we just
let's
give some
not
credit
be
for the ones that
bigoted.
didn't want to be a part of it? And say,
Yeah,
hey,
if we're going to be bigoted
They
against,
were
if we're going to be bigoted against any group, it's going to be Jews. I won't have it any other way. It's not going to be Germans. It will not be Germans. I am putting my foot down. God damn it.
Listen, there's those.
Check
old
out
ass-
Dave Namery. If you guys don't watch his comedy, you're fucking. If you live in New Jersey and you don't watch this guy, he's hilarious.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh my god, he makes me laugh. He does
When
not
I
give a
was in
fuck.
Texas, I went around to all the Christian missions or whatever the fuck it was called back then.
The missionaries?
Yeah, monasteries.
Monasteries.
Missionaries.
That's
I don't
different.
know.
That's different.
No, that when they in the beginning, I think it was missionaries. When they first came in the beginning, and they set up all these old ass churches.
You're talking about
Like-
Germans,
No, I'm talking about Christians.
just in general.
Yeah, there's like a
You lost.
it was before like a fort for fucking the French and Mexican War or whatever they had.
The French and Mexican War. There probably was one. Actually, yeah, because France owned all the shit we bought with the Louisiana Purchase.
That's
so
right.
it
So they
could be.
definitely-
But were they there? I don't think the French were even there. I think they just owned it. Were they there?
So
I don't
anyway,
even know,
the
dude. I
place
don't know
turned
shit.
into a fort in like one of the early like come and take it years. Do you remember that when they were like fighting against fucking Mexico?
And the fight never stopped.
Well, so that was a fort then, but before that, it was a Christian fucking whatever the fuck you call it, mission place.
Are you saying it's a monastery? It's like a
I think
place
he's
to
trying to say
worship?
monastery.
You wouldn't call it a
I
mission.
don't know, a
think.
church.
A
Where the
church,
fuck was
yeah,
it?
that's probably the best word. I think everyone will know what you mean at least.
A place of worship.
There you
But
go.
it's so fucking old that it's like before United States was the United States. What the fuck were those assholes doing over here already?
Well,
Just
they
spreading
discovered
the good word.
America in 1492. Are you not familiar with these things? And
But
it
why
was
did
not-
they
it
rush
was-
right over to be like, you guys gotta get on this Christianity stuff? There was no, there was nothing going on here, but they're like, all these people out in the woods need to understand that Jesus is the Lord. Like,
You can't
What did they care?
microdose. You're getting us in so many different directions. We can't even establish, like, we're established. We're like, okay, we're here now. And then you just put us, it's not even close. It's entirely different what you're doing. It's like 1 minute we're talking about the election, and then we're talking about Hitler, and then we're talking about the CIA. Now we're talking about churches before America was America, which wasn't that long ago. You're making it seem like it was super long ago.
But why did they come and just set that up? Why did they feel it's so important to come to this land and just go? It was the same thing. They're like, hey, I'm going to indoctrinate you guys with this Christian stuff now
Yes.
for when we
Yes.
come and take over for real.
Okay, listen. Can you mute your own microphone for a second? Okay.
I could. I'm going to have the power.
This is what I wanted to say, because you said something, Mike.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You said like people are worried that we turn into Venezuela, but I don't even think I think that's like misguided. When people are like, you can't have Biden because he's going to be a socialist and he's going to turn us into communists, because I don't think he is that at all. Like, he got more money from Wall Street way more money than Trump did. He's like their guy. He's not going to be socialist, but he is going to be like we're talking about, like health check-ins at buildings and stores and like all that agenda. You know, all that COVID agenda, he's going to double down on it. There is a possibility this would be the best case scenario if he said, you know what, I'm going to get points for this, and I'm going to get guaranteed re-election for me or Kamala, and I'm just going to cure coronavirus. So they're just going to get rid of it and make it not a thing.
Whoever
He
wins
can
wins
do that, but I don't know if he will, because I kind of feel like we're going to be wearing masks for a long time, and I think it's going to become regular. And if you're like walking around and you got sniffles or something because you got allergies and you're not wearing a mask, people are going to look at you weird.
That's what I'm saying.
But
man.
why
I'm
would you
talking about the
say-
Chinese and the Asian and the Chinese model that they
Yeah, it's
already
totally
are ahead
the
of
Chinese
us. Where
model.
they're all wearing the masks for years.
There's so many of clips of Biden, even recently, being like, China is not our enemy. They're not even a problem. And this is the same guy who will say that Russia is a problem and an enemy. I'm like, you can't do both of those things. You can't think Russia is an enemy and a problem and not think that China is. You know, like it's just absurd. But, you know, these people, I don't know. They love China.
But
They
to
fucking love it.
say that because Biden got so much money from these big corporations, he wouldn't get rid of capitalism. I mean, say the transition helps happens while he's friends with them, and now he puts them into place as the only
like
ones that can
oligarchs?
do this or that.
They don't even want that. I feel like they don't even want that.
What
Like,
do you mean? They want to corner the market.
Well,
Why
they got
would-
everything. They already got the
well, they
market
cornered it already.
Yeah.
It's already cornered.
It doesn't need to be changed.
I think we're all kind of saying the same thing. It's just that Venezuela had the old model, and this is the new model of socialism of the social credit score,
Right,
And all
yeah,
that
that's a
stuff,
good
right?
point.
It's
That's
just
a
you're
good
not
point.
your money. They don't give a fuck about money anymore. Now it's about data. It's
Yeah.
data. It's data.
Cashless society.
I'm way too fucking dumb, but your data is worth more than your fucking cash in your pocket. And these guys are so smart that that's the new socialism where it comes to, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm outdated. I'm old. So I'm using Venezuela. But you're right. What you're saying about that.
So
That's where we're headed.
is the government going to mine all of our data through our chip and sell it to all these companies?
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny that people this is the weakest defense. I feel like when people are like, "Why are you so worried about the government having all your data and your DNA
what
and
do you
everything?
mean?
Companies already have it." And I'm like, how is that a counter argument?
better
Like,
now.
why do you care if other people have your information? These people already have it. Why do you care if there's way more that have it? And
Dude,
it's the government. I'm like, what kind of question is that?
In the late 90s, when you just were giving away email, like simple stuff, I would freak out about giving away data or privacy. Before the internet was just when it was AOL, let's say, and people were like, you have nothing to hide. I hate that excuse.
Ugh.
Oh, what do you have to hide? Now you're saying that when you have a fucking microphone when you're jerking off, when you're taking a shit, whatever the fuck you're doing, that camera's just staring at you.
That's hot.
Now do you fucking? But it's true. Back then was like,
The only way I can get off
what do you
is if I think a hacker is staring at me through my phone.
well, I just fuck with them, but that's a whole different. Like Dave said, that's the next episode. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, well, given the stuff that we're looking at probably online, like our conspiracy stuff, like there's probably
Oh, we're checked.
we're labeled. We're in
For
a
sure.
system. They're looking.
I've
at
been
it.
in there
But
for a
there's,
while.
There's becoming too many of us, so they can't keep track.
I
That's
one
what
time
think.
submitted to try and become a Mason, and they just never even
How do you
responded.
even do what?
You got to like
how do you
find
do
their
that?
shit on their site. And
I'm so not familiar with
they look
masonry.
through all your they look through your social media and stuff. So I did not get a response.
You want to know something weird? You want to
I
know
was like,
something
fuck
weird?
it, I'm giving in. I'm joining you guys.
Well, that I wanted to join the CIA to be undercover. You know what I mean? For the
A
people.
spy.
But I knew that they wouldn't accept me. I don't have the credentials. I didn't go to Harvard or Yale or anything. But this was weird. I felt like this was weird. I got in the mail, it was like HSBC. It was like my dad got it to open a bank account. I wanted to like open a new bank account.
Mm-hmm.
And because like the bank that I go to is small and there's none in Hoboken where I'm moving. So I wanted to do it. Was like HSBC was like $500 to open an account as long as you deposit $5,000 in it.
Woo.
In like within 3 months. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. So I just went online and I typed in on the code and it's like, just type in your social security number. And I was like, okay. And I put it in and literally in 10 seconds it goes processing, rejected. I was like, how much information is available that it could have automated and ran a 10-second like research on my social security number and be like, you can't, you're rejected.
They saw
You're not what we're looking for.
They saw those credit scores.
They saw the credit scores. If I saw how much money I have,
They saw him denying the Holocaust at the dojo in front of 10 people. They were like,
well, they don't even care about that if I've got the money. You know what I mean? These people don't have more morality.
They were like, no, they were pumped. They were like, yes, finally our ancestors' deeds have been forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Someone's got to forget them. Everyone's talking about never forget. I'm like, well, maybe it's time for a new paradigm.
Guys, I'm sorry if
Never
anyone.
remember.
No. I think it's good. I think it's good that we're not just talking about the same thing everyone's talking
It's
about.
my fault that we got crazy, everybody. I'm sorry.
I think it's
It
good.
is. I think we established that already.
Yeah, that's been a but
We
it's
don't
okay.
need you to admit it.
Why did they come? This is all across the country, okay? The oldest buildings in every fucking city are, guess what? Churches and Masonic temples.
There, I went to go look at in Queens at when I was apartment hunting, and there was an apartment building, and it looked nice online. And I get there to look at the apartment, and you can just see it's kind of faded.
Was a
But
Masonic
it was
temple?
a Masonic temple. I was like, we're not living here. I don't give a fuck. I was like,
That's true.
There are fucked up things that happen in here, dude. Like, no way.
I say this, and we used to do the shrine circuses all the time and get fucked up with the Masons because they had
Really?
their little lodge right there. Yeah, they'd always have tons of food and booze
Oh my
and
gosh.
shit, and we just get wasted. And then have to ride our dirt bikes again, or the girls would have to hang from, ropes from the ceiling, just hung over.
Yeah, and then you
Circus
gotta like
life.
sacrifice some. who
Well,
knows?
we didn't ever stay for any of that. That's why we actually brought the elephants, was for them to sacrifice. Just so PETA knows that's what the circus was doing, was bringing elephants to the Masons.
That's really nice of you. That was really nice of you.
We
That-
did
that
get
was thoughtful.
protested by PETA before.
What, for having elephants?
Yeah.
I don't even know you had elephants.
At the circus.
Okay.
I lived at a circus for like 5 years.
It's back when
I don't even
Well,
know that.
several different circuses. Yeah, so they were protesting the tigers and the elephants, and I think that they don't give a fuck about any of
They're
the
just
other animals.
bored. You know, these PETA people. They're the same as.
They were. I was like, can you guys move? I have to go to work in there. All right?
You know what? And they're protesting right now. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a riot, but they were protesting. They were like, Trump will accept the elections. Trump will accept the like chanting things like that in like upper East Side. I think they were like 120th
Just
Street or
tons
something.
of
I was like, yeah,
white
that'll
people?
work. That'll work. Of course. Well, no, it was 120th Street, so it was mostly black people. If you know the layout of the
I
city.
don't know the layout.
Yeah. Well, okay. That would be Harlem.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Should
So
have said that.
I should have just said Harlem.
But
yeah.
gentrification was doing a great job. So
I'm
I
sure
don't
there were
know.
plenty of white people.
I don't
there
know
to get
where
pats
is
on the
what
back
now.
from each other.
That shit's all reversed.
Like one white guy going up to another white guy at this big rally with a bunch of black people and just patting him on the back, like, glad we're the good ones. Glad we're the good whites.
Well, that's
Really
my-
proud of us.
That's my joke that goes over sometimes and sometimes doesn't. That not everything's bad at the pandemic. Do you remember gentrification? Antifa fixed it, or totally reversed it. They took back more. they reversed it and actually took more land back. It was a great move on their part.
Have you considered joining Antifa? Is this?
Do you want me to lead one of your battalions?
I feel like you'd be a good Antifa leader.
I am militant as fuck.
Yeah, but you're too low energy. You're like low energy Jeb.
Until it's time to go,
Until
bro.
it's time, until it's go
That
time.
is, yeah. He's throwing a brick right through that fucking.
Here's
window.
the dude, super calm through everything until that first brick goes off, and then it's fucking.
Yeah, I'm not even like
Berserker.
I'm not a riot guy. I'm like I like to read.
You're like quiet, right?
Yeah, quiet riot. Yeah, no, I like to incite
You're like
riots.
I'm raging.
Like I said,
I'm
inciting.
revolting in my head.
like getting people riled up to want to riot.
You're the
Something happen.
provocateur.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
He
well-
might be.
And I'm being redundant now, but it's true. That is like something that I really look forward to doing
He
when I
really
have a
might
bit of
be.
a following.
Yeah.
Then I'll be dangerous.
think
Then the
I'm friends
CIA will
with his-
take me out.
We need to have.
Or just part of it. You just might be the provocateur. I became friends
We'll
with the
have you.
provocateur.
He'll be like the show provocateur instead of the hype man. He just harasses everybody for like 15 minutes before the show actually starts.
There
Just trying to
will
get
be.
everybody
Oh
into
yeah,
it.
then just get people as mad as possible. That's like we did the open mic like last week. You remember that? And
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, I was bombing for like 3 minutes because I was like, "What do you guys think about Biden?" And everyone's like, and I'm like, "I'm supposed to bother you though." I'm like, "This is all intended to bother you. So if you don't like Biden, this isn't going to bother you." And I'm like, I forget what else I was saying. I was like, "What about masks?" And they're like, "No, we don't really like them." I was like, "What the fuck then?" I was like, "Fine, then there's 71 genders. Are you bothered now?" They just wouldn't get bothered at all.
It was all comedians.
It was all comedian. I mean, that's also like, it's one of those quiet rooms for open mics. It's
Yeah.
too quiet. It's too
Unless you
quiet
get a
in
lot
there.
of people.
Yeah.
it depends.
That's what Preston was mad the other night, and I'm like, bro, if you're making
Mad
this
about
group of people laugh at your jokes really hard, they're too hard for regular people, for civilians, right?
Yeah,
if you
you're
make
Oh,
an
if you're
open
killing at
an open mic, it's too raunchy for normal people.
it depends.
Well,
it
it's not
depends how
too
you're
normal for
doing it.
here.
Yeah, it depends how you're doing it.
no,
here-
it still usually is.
No.
There are people who I mean, that's the thing. It's like, Preston does a particular type of humor.
Right.
It's like I'm up there denying the Holocaust, but I do it with a smile, and
Yeah.
it's silly. But there's lots of people who do that kind of thing. That it could kill for comics and it could kill for regular people. But the problem is when you get these guys who are just so hardcore and they're talking about like, little kids getting raped. And
Yours
like,
is
just lots
obviously-
You
of-
got to be really funny for that to work.
But they're really like, they're not deadpan enough. That's the problem. So they're saying that like you're like, is that serious? Because if you're like really deadpan,
Are
like
you saying I
Jesselnick-
need to do
Jesselnick's
kid
got
fucking
that.
jokes?
I'm saying,
market
well,
for it.
you do have the deadpan kind of vibe. I think you need to tone it down a little bit though.
Tone down what? My deadpan? Turn the pan up?
No, I don't think it's deadpan enough.
Oh,
That's why-
okay, okay.
Turn the fan up. Turn the fan up. Yeah, so I don't know. It's like, I don't know. There's all different styles, but something like that, like the comic that he does, but a lot of people do it. It's like if you're killing for comics, that's probably concerning.
Here's my point. Yes, any jokes I've had that killed at an open mic, I have to do 3/4 of the way through my set, because if I do them in the first minute, it's going to be fucking a little too dark.
That's fair. That's fair.
No carnival parking. We can talk about jokes. We're supposed to talk about the election and things.
Sorry, bro.
We're long gone.
It's all right.
We're
It's
long
okay.
gone. We really failed
This
And
guy.
I love to talk about comedy.
what we set out
But-
to do.
I don't know how much these guys want to hear about.
Yeah, I don't
breaking
know.
well,
down
we
jokes
got to
and
go
stuff.
anyway.
We do
so-
have to go. Let's just do a little bit of final thoughts. Let's do a little final thoughts, just so anybody that
What are you,
made it this
fucking
far,
Springer?
anybody that made this far, thinks about, what are we thinking?
You don't
Clint?
even know who Jerry Springer
Clint,
is.
what do
dude.
you think's gonna happen
I do.
next 2 months? What's happening
Next 2 months?
next fucking 2 weeks? Next week? I don't care.
I don't
24
know.
hours, 48
I think
hours.
obviously everybody's gonna snap. I think there's fuckery going on with the ballots and the votes, and obviously there's gonna be a dispute over that, and I think it's gonna start getting fucking violent here, and or like at least shit getting looted and burnt down, like not too far future.
Dave,
It's an illegitimate election. I totally think that. It's totally bullshit. But they'll give it to Biden in the end.
oh, he's gonna come out the victor.
And and there won't be much rioting because Biden won and the rioters are Biden supporters. I mean, the Trump guys there is a chance that the Trump people go a little nuts and they do a little bit of rioting of their own. But I think they're more likely to like just straight up kill people than they are to riot. To be honest, they've been well behaved to their credit.
Well, that's thanks
for
to
a
Q.
while.
Thanks to the letter Q.
Yeah, but it's gonna get weird. But hopefully someone should just take over the Q account and be like, this is all part of the plan. And then so that the crazy potential killers would just be like, okay, it's fine. It's part of the plan. But then Kamala Harris is going to kill Biden and she's going to become president.
Oh, yeah.
That'll only take
dead.
8 weeks.
Yeah.
They just given him, what is it? Adolferol.
Yeah, he's fucking dead, man.
They've
He was
got
on
him
so
just
many
amped
drugs in
up
those
on
debates.
Adolferol.
He
He's
was on
fucking
so
hopped
many
up. Whatever
drugs.
they got him on last night was the perfect combo.
I know, but I saw Trump doing a rally like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, this guy's high. And I couldn't believe it wasn't on the news because you could just see it. He was doing like, the stuff with his like mouth and,
Which Trump?
I don't know. One of the Trumps was on.
Yeah, one of
on
his
drugs.
sons.
Son, like,
I've seen.
Oh,
a
I meant
video.
Donald. I thought you meant body doubles. I'm like one. I don't know if it was him or.
I don't think
body
he
double.
has a body.
Is it-
He
is it
might
no-
not, but he might. I
AB.
mean,
Do you think with his ego he would let somebody else
No,
go out there and
not him.
pretend to be him?
not him.
No way.
that's a good point.
Yeah, not
And
him.
who's gonna kill his heart on a fucking?
He's the funniest president ever, ever. He's so funny, dude. He's
Nobody's
hilarious.
gonna kill that hard.
If
in
he was a
person.
stand-up,
I
he
watch
would-
him for entertainment. Those
Yeah.
rallies, I watch it. They're funny as fuck.
He crushes. His
Yeah.
timing's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's really good.
Yeah, he's one of the best comedians touring in the world right now.
I think so.
Yeah.
He might have Chappelle
biggest
beat.
crowds.
Yeah, I hope he keeps doing the rallies.
Yeah, he just keeps going.
Just like even if he loses, I hope
Well,
he
I
just
think
keeps
that
doing
might
rallies.
happen.
I think he probably will.
I think that might happen.
I look forward to that. I think
know?
because like the pressure's taken off, it's not as serious, and like maybe even people who hate him can like kind of enjoy it because he's objectively hilarious.
Do you-
Objectively,
Do you think we could get him on a show?
We got to wait till him to come on the come down. He's
Yeah,
way
on the
too
come-
hot
He's
right
too
now.
big right now.
we
Couple
have to
years-
meet in the middle. We're on the come up.
Yeah,
He'll be
yeah.
on the come down. We'll meet in the middle.
When he's working
get him on the
out,
podcast.
Yeah, when he's working out his next set, like 4 or 5, like when he's We'll get him when he comes down. He's like
We'll be
Joey,
like,
he's
so
like
how's
Joey
the,
Diaz.
how's the new hour coming out?
It's a little too hot. It's a little too hot for the dojo right now.
He's like, I don't practice hours. All right, I just go
He's like,
up
I
and
riff. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the fuck is up, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Listen, everyone from 4 Deep and the Swarm. I'm sorry if we didn't get too conspiratorial or if we got a little too crazy. This is a little bit. This was like No Carnival and Freethinker fucked, and this was its weird child. But maybe you guys don't want to hear about all that shit, and I'm happy everyone's listening.
Stop apologizing.
Thank
for that.
you, Clint. You need to eat more mushrooms. 'Cause
you
now
respect
now
these
you're
people
getting
too
aggressive.
much. You need to disrespect your
Now
fans.
you're
I do it
getting
every
aggressive.
week.
No, I love you guys. Thank you so much. We got to go run a show. We have a great show. Thank you all for coming out and listening to this podcast. If you did listen, Clint, anything going on with your podcast?
Sadly, no. No, I did record one with
You have a new one.
Sheesh, but it's not out because I had all the computer sound issues for the
Mercury
last
retrograde
week.
kicked his ass this week.
What happened?
Mercury retrograde kicked his ass this
yeah.
week. We lost a lot of electronics.
Facts.
Long story short, there was a projector in the dojo that I hooked to my other computer that normally is hooked to that TV. No sound anymore. One day it worked. Next
Spooky.
thing came back in, no sound. So I was like, yo, let me just put this one in so I can run the show. I plugged that one in. Guess what? No fucking sound. So I killed both computers with the same projector like a fucking idiot.
And
Buffoon.
you do have some kind of thing you're working on. I've been promoting it. You had something going on. Clint goes, checks out roads and such shit.
Oh, the thing with Preston, where we're just called. I totally forgot about it. Fucking, I was like, I haven't done anything productive.
Stay on top of it.
No one cares about your fucking. Your Mac crashing.
have you ever? And basically, we just go do a bunch of different things. We went to a doll grave in Jersey, and we went to Clinton Road, and I'm actually going to take him rappelling at Zoltan's house.
Mm-hmm.
My stuntman friend, and he was like, what's going to be so entertaining about that? And I was like, I'm pretty sure you being terrified trying to rappel is going to be just entertaining in itself.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Cool.
He doesn't think he's going to be terrified, but I'm pretty sure I've seen the setup, and it's in just this really tall tree in the middle of Zoltan's yard, and it looks
Jesus.
fucking sketchy as fuck. So it's perfect for us. So check that out. That's actually on the YouTube channel, on the Freethinker TV YouTube channel. And also just go to freethinker.tv and check, which actually I haven't updated that either. So don't go there. Just go to the YouTube
That's
channel.
official.
All
When
right.
you got it, .tv.
Dave, where can everyone find you?
Just my podcast, just Storytime with Dave. Please listen to my podcast, Storytime with Dave. Some of you already do. My episodes have been so good lately. It's one of the best podcasts on the air, period. And the latest episode I did is very short. It's just a 9-minute episode. I did
love
a little
that.
short. I wrote a
Love
short
it.
story about how Kamala Harris is going to kill Joe Biden. So it's a short story. It's nonfiction, but I think that's. I mean, it's fiction, but I think it's more like fictional nonfiction because it's going to happen. It just didn't happen yet.
I love
It's
it.
like life will imitate art.
Yes, it will.
It
Storytime with Dave. That's what's up. That's all you need.
Guys, listen, thank you so much, and we will be back next week.